Hi, Fabian again here, and this will be part three out of our series. And in part one, we set up our development environment locally with Python and Anaconda, and we made sure that we tested everything okay and it was working. In part two, what we did is made an initial connection into Azure, Microsoft Azure, to a brand new Azure machine learning environment. And we created a new workspace. And then from our local machine, we made a connection using Jupyter Notebook and writing Python code to connect that environment. And the last thing that we did is that we persisted that connection locally to a machine so that in future connection, we just call it and we can connect to it. And in this part three, that's exactly what we're going to do. And this is going to be a work in progress, part three, because we're going to finish everything here today. We're not going to run through and test an experiment. We'll save that for maybe a part four. Right now, I just want to connect and return a couple items to you that you can see, and we'll pick an experiment later on. So just to cycle back, though, just to the logistics and the mechanics of persisting this information. Right now, if I do a ls, you'll notice that we have one file inside here. This is basically your Jupyter Notebook. You notice the color changes. This goes back to what I mentioned to you before in terms of telling you that by using Powerline in ZSH theme, if I do like now git status, it'll tell you that I modified my README. I have a folder, two hidden folders here, and this file. So I'm going to do a git add -a, git commit -m. This is an initial commit, but let's just say setup complete part 1 and 2 complete. And so you can see this is green now, so this is ready. So if I do a git status again, you'll notice that it'll tell me that my branch is ahead by 1. What I've done here as well, in fact, I'll just push it up here so you can see. So git push, you know what, this is going to ask me for my username and password because I haven't done this yet. So I'm not going to do that because you'll actually see me typing that in. That won't work. So I'll do that afterwards and show you once it's completed, or I'll just show you, let's see, Chrome. Where it is. Actually, no, I'll just do it this way. So let's come here and just do JUPYT, Jupyter. All right, okay, so this now brings this guy over here. And this is the one we were working with before. So I'm going to create a new one now. New Python 3. And this one is going to be called second connection or letter to Azure. And what we'll do is we'll come over here and we'll start working. So import login. So we can log. We'll do import Azure ML.core. We'll do from Azure ML.core.experiment import experiment, because we're going to set this up for later on. We're going to get some workspace. So we'll do from. In fact, all of this. Well, let's try it out. Azure ML.core dot. I like to cheat. Control C. Dot workspace. Import workspace. Control V. Dot data set. We'll use this later on. Import data set. Control V. Azure.train auto. If you remember, we did AutoML before, right? That's when we did our initial setup in one. Alright, so we will need actually that import py import one as plt pandas as pd. So things we're going to need later on. So work. It helps to type properly. Here we go. All right, so now let's go ahead and we'll say load OS error. All right, we ain't going to debug all of that stuff. Let's see. Library not loaded. Okay, so I may need to go back in there and go load some libraries. So I'll just take the very little of what I need. I need these, which is fine. I don't need these. All right. Don't need any of the rest. How did I do that? Okay, that works, right? Yeah, I think it worked. Okay, so WS, let's do this. Oh, that's what I meant to do. I meant to do this. Markdown and do 1, 2, and say step 1. And then this is going to be connect to Azure using local config file. Alright, and here we go. Then we'll say WS is equal to work workspace from config. Alright. And we'll say, actually let's test this out a little bit, one thing at a time. Here we go, so that worked. All right, okay, so what I want to do is, let's write this out pretty. I'm gonna set this up a little bit different. I'm gonna do this experiment. All right, so Control C. Yeah, let's do this. Control C. So the next one is mark down 1, 2, 3 and say set up and output and verify environment. Alright, so I'll do a Control V here, and I will take, I don't want my subscription ID showing, so I'm going to remove that. And Azure ML, WS is already there. Resource group, location, experiment name, which is going to be that. And there we go. So this is just going to give a pretty little view. There we go. All right. So we can see here that we have the SDK version. We have the workspace, which you saw from number 2. We have the resource group. We have the location. We have the experiment name right here. So this is just letting you know that the connection is made. The fair fact that it can actually pull this back is showing that information right there. So this is complete. It gives us that connection that we talked about. So I'm going to stop here. This is showing you basically the conclusion of, or I guess a furtherance of number 2, but the fact that we're working locally. What I will show you though is that over here now, this is what I was going to push up. But I'll push it up afterwards because I have not logged into GitHub before, and it's going to prompt me for credentials. So here's what we did so far. Number 1, number 2, and number 3, up to the point of just returning information back. If we were to look at the configuration JSON file, let me move it over here and make sure that it's not showing my subscription ID. Yep. You'll notice that this is basically the information that it took, the config.json, and it's using that to write back. Right. So with that said, I'm going to end this video here. What you will see later on is we're going to put this on GitHub and github.com, and we're going to go to this one, and it's going to be, of course, reflective of all of this stuff that we've done in a little bit later on. And in fact, I tell you what, let's just do this over here. Let me grab my terminal and just move it off screen. And shell new tab, and then just come inside here and say ls and cd ls and cd Azure ls. Okay, git push origin master username. There it is. Password. And there we go. So if I come here now and just refresh this, there we go. All right, so now we have all of the information up here. I will go back in and kill this file because you shouldn't have that file. And you're all set. Thank you so much.